Hello, everybody. Today is a very special day here in the world of wrestling. It's another episode of Post to Post. We have again in our midst Mr. Weatherman, and joined as always the brothers of discussion, myself, Grayson, and my brother Will. How are you guys doing tonight?
Not bad.
I'm in a bad mood.
Bad mood. Oh no.
Thanks to the Russians interfering with our gas here in North Carolina, I couldn't go watch baseball today. So guess what? I'm stuck doing this fucking podcast. And I had to watch wrestling tonight because we're recording this on Wednesday, and I had to watch AEW, and that sucked.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
I liked it. That was fun. I actually got a chance to watch wrestling for the first time in a while. But, I've just come to the conclusion that, Will's gonna poop on anything, almost anything except New Japan. You're gonna poop on almost anything, just in general. And then I'm gonna just poop on anything I didn't watch.
That is...
So essentially, we're just a shit show.
To an extent, yes.
We're not a shit show, but we're a show that takes a shit on other shows.
Yes.
I'll give AEW credit. They almost had something with their Blood and Guts match until Jericho got in and the match beyond happened. Then it killed it for me. Everything pre-Jericho was great. Everything post-Jericho, he lost me.
Well, let's look at it this way. We all know that Jericho's going to do his damnedest to steal the show anytime he's in a ring. That's Jericho. That's what he's going to do.
I'm just going to say, all of Weatherman's complaints could have been avoided if Goldberg had just wrestled him in WCW.
Yeah.
Pulled a Bret Hart on a Jericho instead of a Bret.
Pretty much. I'm glad you picked up what I was putting down.
Oh, yes. Man. You're not wrong. Who knows how wrestling would be now if that had happened? WCW could have survived. No, it wouldn't have. But who the fuck knows what would happen? Anyway, going back to it, we can definitely talk Blood and Guts here in a little bit, because last show Grace and I did do some predictions, and just to go ahead and say it, we nailed it. Called every fucking one of them.
Oh, show.
Now, is that, just one, AEW makes it too obvious, or two, it was just one of those shows where, honestly, if they hadn't gone that route, it would have fucked over too many things.
If they hadn't, it just wouldn't have made sense. Like, I wouldn't say it was predictable. It's literally just how else would it have played out and kept the stories going in their proper fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Blood and Guts match, that was the blow-off. That's the end.
Yep. We'll get Weatherman's hot take on this in a moment.
Weatherman's watching AEW, and we both refuse to watch it since we're doing the show.
I didn't know this beforehand. I thought everybody was watching it together, and I was like, okay.
I wanted to, but I couldn't figure out.
Blame the gas crunch.
I'll blame the gas crunch.
Damn gas crunch ruining my wrestling.
Damn hackers.
Regardless, if they didn't play out that way, I wouldn't know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I do like surprises, but at the same time, they need to make sense.
Yep.
Did anybody else get Rikishi vibes?
From which one?
Blood and Guts, the end.
No, I don't think I did.
Like when Undertaker threw Rikishi off the Hell in the Cell. That's just what popped in my
Oh,
head.
that. I don't know. I, for some reason, thought you were randomly trying to allude to some sort of dance number, and I don't remember there being a dance number.
No.
Here's my take on the main event. 1. Every member of the Pinnacle, Shawn Spears included, looked damn good. There was some fuckery, of course, because, you know, why wouldn't there be? Every member of the Inner Circle came in, did amazingly well, besides 2 main instances that I can think of. First one, Sammy's botched rope walk, where he looked like he almost died.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, as Weatherman mentioned, Jericho being Jericho. Now,
I will say
I can look past a lot of Jericho stuff, but, you know, in general, he was a bit off. He didn't gel as well.
He didn't want to do the climax.
No.
He's already talked about it as podcast. He's like, no, I didn't want to do it. I just had to do it. And you know, when they were doing it, it was a big crash pad type deal, like, you know, where it made the drop, you know, only like 8 feet rather than, I guess, what it ended up being, which was, you know, like a very sketchy drop. And the stuntman who they had doing it, he was wearing, you know, the protective gear and a helmet. When he was doing it, it's like, I don't get a helmet. I don't get this nice safety pad.
Yep.
So,
I mean, they definitely had the padding underneath the false stage.
but it was just a very small pad and then cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what a stuntman uses.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it wasn't needed. The War Games match was very good up until that point. The match beyond went too far, in my opinion, because if you watch all historic War Games matches, usually when you get to the match beyond, it's not shortly after they go home. They went for a pretty good while when the match beyond happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that match was good enough, it could have ended with a surrender in the ring, I feel. Especially when you get Tully in there and he was fucking around and you got the odds against him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like all the weapons. I think the weapons could have stayed out.
I thought I was kind of hit or miss on certain weapons. It made sense for a couple of them. Like, for me, it made sense for Shawn Spears to bring in a chair. It was, you know, in character. You know what I mean? But, yeah, almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry after...
But here's the problem with that. The Pinnacle always had the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
They were already in the handicap. The chair was just extra baggage.
Nah, I think it was needed. I personally think it was needed. Not because of what you're saying, baggage, but you're selling characters, not the match for this. And he's the chairman. That's what he does. He brings a chair everywhere he goes. If he didn't bring a chair, it doesn't fit the shtick, and then it's less believable.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm going. It's like I can see both sides of this. If it had been a match without the furniture, it still would have been a fun watch for me. Really.
The point I'm going to make is Jericho with the bat made more sense because they were the underdogs when it came to advantages and blah blah. The bat sneaking the bat in made more sense than Spears coming in with a chair.
Okay. To that end, I'll give you that. I think what they could have done possibly is that moment where Tully was in there, he could have
brought the chair in. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Right there. Okay. I will agree with you in that regard. Because that does work. It still plays the character, but it gives it a little less of a we already have an advantage. Why do we need to, further push it? But, it is what it is.
Actually, a more suitable ending I would have seen, since they did remove the ring mat to expose the bare floor.
Yeah.
They could have done several pile driver spots on, let's say, Jericho, and that's what caused them to surrender, because they was going to break it. They were intending on breaking his neck.
I would have liked that. I would have preferred that.
Instead of MGF just holding him, they go, I'm going to throw him. I'm going to throw him. Okay, we give up. I'm still going to throw him. Throw.
That was a little tame. I mean,
you could have done it. You could have done it better, especially if you brought the chair in, like you said. Had them got the chair, or gotten the ball bat, and just pulled off the rest of the inner circle while let your most safest guy, I guess we could say, Dax. Let Dax and Cash continually do the spike pile driver on Jericho and say, we're not going to stop till his freaking neck's broke. Then they give up.
Yeah.
Similar to, just how War Games matches usually ended. It was always surrender.
Yeah.
Whether it been, I think, what was it? Was it Flair getting hit in the head with a chair door is what caused the Horsemen to surrender?
I can't remember. It may have been.
That may have been the last time the heels actually won War Games, was when the NWO done it.
Could be, yeah. Now, in terms of just everyone won, it's like I both liked it and thought it was overly hokey, because all of the Inner Circle coming out in their prison jumpsuits, that truly only made sense for like 2 of them, given like how they talk themselves up. The rest of them, I'm just like, okay, why do you have this on? But also, Santana and Ortiz, Proud and Powerful, them coming out in their face paint made me just think of, all right, as much as I like these guys, they look like a low-rent Gorilla's Destiny.
I thought that too.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Santana and Ortiz. I think they're great. But that look, I just instantly went to, okay, that's a poor man's B.o.D.
We're a rich man's Juggalo.
There you go.
So did you hear about the big fuss about this show in general?
What was that?
The first hour was taped because they couldn't hang the cage.
Oh, yeah.
So the live fans only got the 2 interviews and blood and guts.
Worth it.
Huh.
I love the match, so worth it in my book. I'd pay to watch that match. I would have paid to see it live.
I would have to. And I heard it was fairly cheap.
I wouldn't have traveled great distance for one match.
No, not at all.
Not.
If I were a resident of Florida, I would have drove like, let's say, 3 hours tops.
But now, at the same time, here's with new current events that you're going to talk about later. AEW is doing live shows again.
Yes.
Why did it not save this match for one of the live shows?
Got more shit to do, man.
I guess just because it would have just, they wanted to capitalize on the momentum they've got right now with that feud. It's been kind of a weird one. To me it's been decent, but it's had some odd miscues. I'll agree.
Knowing what we know now, whenever everybody listens to this, they'll already have seen tonight's AEW. There's going to be the big question of, they're going to do that shit again.
That I remember you mentioned it earlier on, but yes, they do tend to dip their toes into well-tread waters. But
with that being said, if you want to change over that topic right quick.
Which one? The live?
Going back to live events.
Yeah, let's.
It's it doesn't matter how bad AEW is going to be. They're going to sell a lot of tickets. I ain't going to say sell out. They're going to sell a majority of tickets, but people in general just want to get out of the house.
Yeah, I have a feeling that in the grand scheme of things, the pandemic putting a pause on AEW's live shows is going to build up the hype to where they're going to pick back up with a lot of big selling houses. Because we know they were kind of slowly dipping down as they started nearing Double or Nothing last year. But then, everything stopped dead. So what I feel like...
The thing is about it is the summer's going to be good for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what, they starting in June?
Late June, yeah, I believe so.
I say June, July, August, they will not have a problem selling tickets.
Yeah, because I believe it's, one show in Miami and then 2 in Texas?
Yeah, Dallas and Austin.
Yeah.
When's the next StarCast?
I've still got my StarCast polo. I haven't worn it yet.
Nice. I remember they said I could have a free shirt, and I was like, alright, cool, and they gave me that extra large.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I am definitely not extra large.
But the thing is, the AEW marks, they don't need to brag about them going to do live shows for WWE because they need to understand that WWE doesn't have to go back to doing live shows anytime soon. They have enough sponsor and TV money. They're still making a profit.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's like, one, it is bragging rights to be able to go back first. It is. But two, if you don't look at all the factors involved, that AEW is still a young company and they don't have the historical clout of WWE, it does kind of make that brag a little bit of kind of like, so? They need it more, for sure. All of them need it, but the smaller companies, AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, they all need it way, way, way more than WWE. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to see some stuff out of the conservative South and elsewhere, but as of right now, those are really the only places.
I don't see them going back up north until late fall.
Probably not, because, my Primus concert's still not happening. I finally got my email saying that my tickets are still going to be honored this, I think my show is now in, late September, or late October. So, still excited, but it's a long wait. Other things with live crowds. Actually, real quick, segue back, because we just talked about the main Blood and Guts match for a long time.
Actually, we need to segue back to the live crowds. We also forgot one back thing. You'll be mine and Will's biggest complaint in the world when it comes to tickets. How bad are the scalpers going to eat these up?
Oh my god. It's going to be rough. Unless they run one of those crazy-ass things like they did for All Out. Grayson, you know the one, the Hella line. It's going to be a fucking mess.
All they need to do is say, if the name doesn't match the ticket, or you're not with the person whose name is on the ticket, you can't go.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, if they're going temperature screen in, they might as well check IDs at the gate too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm cool with that, whatever.
Because in reality, if you think about it, what's an ID check at the gate? 5 seconds?
Yeah, you look at the ticket, okay, that name. You look at the ID, that name. These
okay,
don't
this
match.
name matches with the ticket. Who's with your party? These 3? Okay, you're good to go.
Yep.
And of course, if you're there with kids, it's going to be a given. Okay, those are your kids. Okay, y'all are good.
Yep.
Especially with things being mobile tickets only, because that's probably what it's going to be. It'll be easy just to have your ID right there, have your ticket scanned there, and it says, okay, you're Alex Blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then go on in. That's the only way we're going to really crack down on these third-party scalpers. And I said for a long time, there needs to be congressional legislation helping with that.
Yeah, scalping has gotten so bad over the past year because all those scum fucks that,
lost money
for whatever reason, are just pretty much still not doing anything, and they're just, paying exorbitant fees so they have a subscription to one of those shopper bots, and then they're just buying everything up and like flipping it for ludicrous amounts on eBay. I mean, those bots are fucking expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought about looking one up because I was thinking like, okay, they probably run a subscription. What's it going to be? I was thinking like no more than like $20 a month, something like that. Like, sure, I'll throw that down to be able to guarantee myself to get something on like 1 or 2 purchases this summer. Sure. No, fuck no. There's a waiting list to even get on. The subscription's like $150, $200 a month. Plus, you still have to pay for the program, which is another like $200 or $300. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. You have to invest so much money in upfront just to be a shithead. I'm just like, just go be a shithead by camping out in the morning, not bathing like every other real scalper does. But I'm fucking sick of scalping shit. I really am. It's awful. It's been fucking awful in the world of collectibles, and I can only imagine how awful it's going to be with live events here.
I mean, the only people that lose are the fans.
It's true. It's 100% true.
It's like when you try to go to, like, you got them there standing there at the border, that line of each arena where as far as they can go. Tickets? You need tickets? You got tickets? I go, why am I going to sell you my fucking tickets?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I was like, I'm not going to sell. I don't understand how they think that anyone would. I mean, all right, here's this. Yes, if you have a party member that dips out, and you're and you want to make a quick buck, for sure. But am I going to give it to them at cost? Fuck no. I'm going to overcharge to them.
Yep.
I was like, you want this?
Unless I see a guy stand there with 1 or 2 fingers up actually wanting the ticket, I ain't going. I've done that before where I've had somebody bail out on me for a game, and I seen somebody just wanting 1 ticket, and I was like, well, here, I got an extra one. If you want to pay me face value, I don't care. I get my money back out of it. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a decent human being, which is what a lot of people aren't.
Oh yeah, man, you can join, but you gotta hang out with me the whole time.
Just wait till I get on your nerves. That's usually how it goes.
Give it to them for free and then try and make their life hell.
I'm going to destroy you with my annoyance. Just you wait.
Oh, do you enjoy AEW Dynamite? Okay, I'm going to this show too, but I'm just here to shit on it.
Hi, my name's Weatherman. Listen to Post to Post.
I just show up with a cornet face t-shirt, and it's like nobody wants to sit near me.
Man, I that's one thing I do want to get back to live shows for, so I can make us a new set of business cards and just start handing them out to people. Because that's what I did at the very first AEW show. I was like, listen to our show, listen to our show, listen to our show, listen to our show. I just gave them out the cards we printed out. I was like, listen. I handed out
Words and phrases.
I handed out probably at least like 100 of them.
Give it to them and say, don't forget to click the bell and hit subscribe.
Just listen long enough to tell us if we suck. That's all we need.
And then leave a comment. Leave a comment that says we suck. I feel like the only way we'll get a comment is if we get merch and say free t-shirt to the first comment.
100%.
But you just say free t-shirt. You don't say what the t-shirt is. So you send like
the t-shirt's a picture of Yano with a QR code on his stomach. And that QR code, when scanned, just makes whoever scanned it automatically subscribe to the show.
I was gonna go say send a used t-shirt. Like just randomly used t-shirt. Don't know what size it is. Just a t-shirt.
Here's this old Dick Trickle t-shirt I found at the Goodwill.
Yeah, free T-shirt, and then it's literally just a shirt you got a Goodwill for like $1.
We'll just take a Sharpie and write free post-to-post shirt.
And we'll do it just like Dave and send it to you in a garbage bag.
There we go. Perfect. It's
Get a Dare shirt and just have post-to-post written on it.
All right. So, with all the live show stuff, one, good news, full capacity at Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing's got some good stuff coming up. The only match there's a couple matches coming up. The main one that I see being talked about a lot after tonight is the triple threat for the world title. Because I feel the same way, because once again, why in the fuck is it a triple threat? Secondly, Orange Cassidy doesn't need to be in that.
What's even worse was he was the #1 ranked going into that match tonight.
And that's only because Hangman lost to Brian Cage the other day.
Their rankings don't matter.
They need to get their shit together if they want to keep saying the rankings matter, because they have just really played fast and loose with that over the past year.
They might as well just call it like college basketball, have that. It's the AEW poll.
That might work a little better.
Here's our top 25 based on the poll, based on how they won and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think that could work. Be a little more accurate, probably. But, one, Pac and Kenny, that's cool. But, guaranteed, we already know Kenny is going to win. Because last time Kenny and Pac went against each other, Pac won. This is the redemption match.
And that's the thing, too. We've already seen it. So is there really any hype to it?
There's still hype because, one, those two put on a damn good match. 3, you throw in the weird X factor that is Orange Cassidy. Like, you could either, 1, get the really, really raw, mean Orange Cassidy from his feud earlier or late last year, or you'll get the comical throwaway Orange Cassidy, so it turns into a more Pac and Kenny match. But I see it almost being more towards the first version.
No, you're going to get a push for Orange Cassidy because they need someone into the main event scene that hasn't been there yet.
Yeah. For me, I think Orange needs a TNT belt before he needs to be thrown into the big one. Or they just need to go ahead and debut a third belt at fucking Double or Nothing.
I'm fine with it.
Which one?
Him going ahead and being in there.
Fair enough.
Your main event person has to sell merch.
He definitely sells some merch.
Everyone loves Orange Cassidy, so you might as well just go ahead and put them on your screen and make them important, and that's what's going down.
Mm-hmm. Could be. Could be.
Could be. What's going on?
I'm sure just going to say could be because he hasn't gotten anything big yet, but hell, I like him. I enjoy him. Regardless of the absurdity of the gimmick, it entertains me. I
don't think that kind of gimmick deserves a belt. It just needs to be somewhere or
We'll
even
get the
a
belt.
picture.
But just not now. Hangman Page is getting the belt.
Yeah, like we're still sticking to that one because it is very, very likely. Now, some things to cover from last week, which kind of happened as we were recording or found out about them a little late, and the announcements only came out recently. One, anyone that watched Dark last week and they saw the match with Paige and Ricky Starks. Well, we saw Ricky Starks take a nasty-ass tumble on the back of his head. Like, it was bad. Well, he fractured his fucking neck.
God damn it.
So he is out for a while. Ricky Starks is sidelined with a fractured neck. Now, I want Ricky to heal up well.
It's not Hiromu bad, right?
I don't think so. I think they're calling, just a few months. I wouldn't say more than 6 months.
Okay.
But, yeah, it wasn't
It's
like
not
Hiromu
Steve
bad.
Austin level, is it?
No, it's not. It's not a.
It's not like he fused or anything.
No. Like if you go back and watch Dark last week and just watch that match, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, or better yet, here's why I brought up Sammy's rope walk. The way Sammy fell on his neck and head. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Exact same thing. Looked just like that.
Was that the one where he fell between the cage and the apron?
No, that was the one where he was going from the left ring to the right ring, and he was taking a little hop step from one top rope to the next, and when he went to do the hop off of that towards whoever was else, he slipped and he fell short, and he flipped to recover, but he landed hard on the neck and shoulders. Like he tried to salvage it, but you could tell it was he slipped and had to do something to keep from getting real fucked up. It was probably about halfway through the match, I'd wager. But yeah, if you watch Ricky take the same sort of spill, Ricky's just happened to be a little less fortunate. And I mean, Ricky finished the match. He took a fucking, I do believe he took the Deadeye no, he didn't take the Deadeye. What the fucking finisher that Paige used on him? Or was it the Deadeye?
Buckshot.
No, he didn't use the Buckshot. I feel like he may have done the Deadeye or something else, or just some other move just to get the match over quickly. It wasn't his regular Buckshot Lariat finish. But it was definitely a power move. But he got the pin and ended it. But yeah, Ricky was, he kept going, but he was out of it the rest of the time. You could tell.
Oh, fucking trooper finishing the match.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
They'll keep him on TV in a neck brace.
Oh, I hope so. Because he's too good a mouthpiece for Team Taz not to have on TV.
And that'd give Taz something to run his mouth about.
Yeah, it definitely allowed him to keep that feud going between Paige and everyone else. He could run it up as Paige not being a safe worker and blaming Ricky's injury on them, even though it was just an oopsie on Ricky's part that got him hurt. Because, Team Taz doesn't take the blame for their own stuff. Other things. We talked last week about the big rumor about AEW being in talks with Tessa Blanchard for a long time. Well, that was a heaping and steaming pile of bullshit. That is not true at all.
Nope, her or Doggan. No one in AEW has been in contact with them. And, good.
Yeah. 100%.
Too much, as I said, man, too much baggage with her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, show.
Let her go, probably international wrestling scene or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's gonna have to go international with her fucking mouth and the dumb shit that she says.
Mm-hmm.
She's
no fucking attitude.
Yeah.
TNA did a lot for her. They even made her the TNA champ, and she just, ungrateful.
Yep. Let's see. Earlier, or
is she
just
the Austin area? Is she the Austin Aries of the women's wrestling?
For sure.
Yes, that is a very apt description and comparison. 100% on the money. Other things. Last week we had Thunder Rosa had a match against Willow Nightingale, who John was very, very excited to see. He told me immediately inside the messenger. She went by Eye Candy and WoW. So she's now wrestling on AEW, and she had her first match again against Thunder Rosa last week. Now, he didn't tell me who won or whatever. It was on Elevation. Most likely, Thunder Rosa won. But still yet, kudos to AEW and the various dark programs for giving people work. That's one thing I'll give AEW. They've kept more people, working than any of the others.
I read that Thunder Rosa might be NWA exclusive again soon.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Now, if that's true or not, no idea. It's a rumor, but that's one of the grapevines right now.
I hope not, but at the same time, they're going to have to lock her down if they want, because her feud, just reading about it, because one, I still can't bring myself to pay $10 a month to watch NWA Power. But apparently her feud with Camille is doing very well. And they have her paired up with Melina again. So there's that. They have that little split beforehand when Rosa won the belt and kind of turned face. But now she still is, but they just kind of turned Melina, and Melina's back in her corner again. And then Camille, being with Strictly Business, is definitely the heel of the two. But, Rosa's still doing matches. She had a match tonight on Dynamite, I think, was it, Weatherman?
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, I'll give it a watch tomorrow, probably. But, she had a match tonight on Dynamite. I believe she has a match at Double or Nothing.
That's against Dave, I think, for the NWA title.
Mm-hmm. So, she's still getting to do stuff. And, truly, it would be a fuck up on Billy Corgan's part to not try to have them work together some more. It really would. Rosa's good for both companies. They need to just kind of share a little bit more. That's all I've got to say on that one. Now, alright. WWE. In all honesty, other than seeing tons of fan reactions through the various wrestling groups I'm a member of on Facebook, etc., about how Raw still sucks, super, super bad, but how NXT is still really, really good. Not much coming out of WWE
right now. I do want to say something about NXT.
Yeah, do it.
I've been on here in a couple weeks,
mm-hmm.
but I am loving the Cameron Grimes Ted DiBiase skit.
Oh, yeah? Oh, wait, we were talking about him doing that shit a while back, so he's still running them pretty well?
Yeah, this past Tuesday, so he went to an auction to buy a house, and he almost had it bought, and Ted outbid him for $20 million, and he keeps telling him, you're not, everybody's got a price for $1 million man, you're not a $1 million man. The week before, he went to a club and reserved a VIP room for himself, and they wouldn't let him in because they said somebody bought the whole club for the night, and here Ted pulled up with his $sign limousine and got out and said, everybody's got a price. And he done the laugh and everything. And it's just constantly everything Cameron Grimes does, Ted DiBiase one-ups him.
I like the way that sounds. I do.
I like it. It's on YouTube. You can watch them. They're just little 5-minute skits.
Excellent. I'll definitely have to give those a peep. Because
especially being Ted's lost all the weight, he looks like Ted DiBiase again.
Oh, nice. Nice, because the last time I saw him it must have been a recent weight loss, because last time I saw him was Price of Fame era Ted, and he was still looking a little bloaty.
Yeah, he's dropped a lot of weight.
Well, good to hear him being on the or getting healthy again. I like the way that sounds. I'll definitely give it a peep. Other than that, NXT's big thing right now, apparently Karrion Kross and Balor are feuding again, and I'm for it, because I love them both. Grayson, any word on that? Confirm?
What?
Karrion Kross and Balor feuding again?
It would just solidify Cross.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
That's it.
Yep. But I mean, what two people are better to feud there than those two?
Well, it kind of has to be because Balor was a long-standing champ and then won, so it only makes sense. I don't know if WWE still does the rematch clause or not, but NXT technically runs its own ship, so they may still be going by the old school rule. So it just makes sense that that's going to be his big feud.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing I can tell you right now with Karrion Kross, I'm not digging this weird leather loincloth waistband shit he's sporting. It looks dumb as fuck. I mean, save that shit for like the Viking Raiders or someone else. It doesn't jive with me. I'm not for it.
Raiders. Oh.
Say what?
I said, who are the Viking Raiders?
Oh, zing! All right, let me get a little more contemporary. It's very Drew McIntyre entrance gear look.
I'm just talking shit because I haven't seen the Viking Raiders even mentioned in months.
I mean, I just secretly hope deep down they get released and they go somewhere else and become War Machine again.
I think someone's injured, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe so. I forget which one's injured, but yeah.
They had a good one, but they're both great.
Exactly. You know what action figure I've seen clogging the pegs lately? Let's see. It was Heavy Machinery. Which one got released? Otis or Tucker? Tucker? Yeah. Tons of Tucker basics are on the shelves up here. Tons of them. Now, in terms of WWE, over the past week, there have been a few things going on. One, Weatherman, would you like to tell them about WWE's thoughts on Blood and Guts?
Sure. Well, WWE said Blood and Guts set the business back 20 years. And not for the reason you think. Not because of the Chris Jericho poofy fall. But the blading and the blood. Which I disagree with because it's a War Games match. They call it Blood Guts. It'll always be War Games to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cage match in general. Cage matches are supposed to have blood because when you scrape that forehead against that chain link steel, it cuts your head open.
Yes.
Now, if you don't want to do blood, that's when you use Big Blue because Big Blue's a whole lot harder. You might can break a nose, but cutting somebody is going to be less likely in that smooth steel of Big Blue versus the gritty chain link of a chain link cage.
Mm-hmm.
But saying that it set the business back 20 years because the blood, WWE's just in their own little PG mind. Because, in a real fight, people bleed. If you want to make this shit look real, you gotta bleed.
They got a juice. And we don't mean the roids.
And you don't have to have the stuck pig things like a lot of the matches have. But you can't overdo it. I've said it before on this program. We need blood in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But not every match.
No.
Not every week. It needs to be saved for special occasions and special fights.
Make it pop.
Yeah.
Cody doesn't need to fucking gig himself every fucking match he wrestles because I shit you not, it feels like Cody fucking bleeds every match he does.
Well, Cody doesn't need to come out of that fucking middle entrance ramp anyway, but he does.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need that at all. I mean, I was joking with John the other day before, and you've probably already seen what it was, but I was making a joke about the announcement he was supposed to make tonight. John sent a picture in the group chat, and I was like, oh, so Cody's announcement is my entrance is going to be 30 minutes longer, and I'm going to be lowered down on a platform with nightmare skulls on it, and pyros and everything else. And I was like,
apparently a thing too is people getting the Cody Rhodes skull tattoo and tagging him in it on Twitter to get a like. It's like, okay.
I think.
Well, That's why I say we should have a tattoo review board for anybody gets a tattoo. It needs to go before a panel and say, yeah, you can do this, or no, this isn't a good idea. Because there are too many bad tattoos out there. And I don't have any tattoos myself because I don't want to spend the money on them. But for those people who do, they need that second opinion that's like, hey, this is not a good idea.
I've got my one. I enjoy it. Do I want more? Yes. Again, I just need to find the time to schedule with the artist that I want to work with. And secondly, remember to save up the money to do it. Because she not cheap. Grayson, however.
Yeah, I've spent a pretty good amount.
Yeah. I mean, you get compliments on your socks all the time.
Oh, all the time. Everything gets a compliment. But yeah, I need more. I've still got one naked arm. That's about it. I need to do my Macho Man Randy Savage. I was gonna get his cream of the crop on the ribs. It's gonna suck.
Yeah, that's gonna
really
be
the only place. That's the only place that makes sense for it. I don't feel like that's a back piece or anything like that. So side rib, because I don't have
needs to
room
wrap
for
around, and the little creamer cup needs to be near your nip.
No.
Is Mean Gene gonna be in that tattoo as well?
Nope, just Macho. Just gonna be him holding your creamer cup. That's it.
Yep. It's just like now Weatherman, we're gonna put you on the job too, because I already mentioned it to Grayson. They're releasing a new Macho Man figure, and he comes with alternate hands that have the creamers in them.
Really?
Yes.
This gonna be like an Elite Series or a ringside special?
Elite Series. I don't believe it's a ringside special. But yeah, it's the purple Macho Man shirt, the proper orange bandana, and the sunglasses, and he's got the hands that are molded to where one of them has the creamer in between the fingers. And I believe he even comes with like an extra like creamer or two like packaged in there too, if I remember right.
Should he pulled out like 30 of them?
God, so many. But yes, we're on the lookout for that figure for whenever it drops, because I've got to get it. Yeah.
I do. I also have to have it. So if I see
I want
two
the
of
one.
them, you get one.
I want the one of Kamala reading the newspaper from the Gene bloopers.
I want an Akeem, the African Dream.
The original Akeem figure, like they've only done one, I think, in the Elite Series. Will cost you an arm and a leg.
That's not happening.
Because
Just think you could make a Conrad Thompson mod.
I think we talked about my thoughts on Conrad once already.
I think so.
I missed
don't
that.
dislike the guy, but his Dark Side of the Ring, like their little thing they do with him,
the bonus thing,
provides absolutely nothing, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that. That's why I didn't watch it. I think I may have been here when you said that. I think I said I'd rather have Jim Cornette do it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes. Now, because you said things that bring absolutely nothing to the table, that's the perfect transition for this next little bit of news. Why in the fuck are they pushing Jinder Mahal again?
Why the fuck did they bring Eva Marie back?
I don't know.
Gotta do something. It's probably just, the notion of, rotating talent.
Are they getting ready to go to India again?
As well, right?
Not with the massive COVID surge they've had there over the past few weeks. Let's see, what else? Jimmy Uso made his return the other day. I believe it was on SmackDown last week, I think? Last Friday?
Will he, won't he? Will he, won't he?
When
Well,
does
that is right. Last week's SmackDown was supposed to be a throwback SmackDown, but they used the 2021 stage.
Well,
and do you know the only reason they done throwback SmackDown? This ties into my world.
okay.
The only reason they did the throwback SmackDown was because NASCAR was doing the throwback weekend at Darlington. So Fox wants Davey to get on that bandwagon too.
And then they fucked it up.
Oh yeah, they did.
But, again, Jimmy Uso returns. Well, the short and long of it, Jimmy came out to stop Jay and take Jay back out from under the wing and influence of Roman Reigns. Because, apparently, Jimmy's not about that. However, when people came out to attack Roman and Jay, Jimmy assisted them in beating back the attackers. Thus, the will they, won't they? This courtship process is going to be a motherfucker.
He's going to join Roman. Done. Mystery has been solved.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what I see happening, he's going to join Roman, and then they're going to do some fucking stupid backstabbing angle.
You know what I see is going to happen? I'm going to see him joining Roman, and then Roman, they're all leaving in the limo together. Roman gets hit by a car, and it turns out to be Rikishi, and he says he did it for The Rock, and then we're going to have The Rock versus Roman.
I
would
would
say he did it for the Nookie.
Look that one up, kids.
Oh, God. All I can say, here's my response to your prediction, Weatherman. I could only hope that idea would happen, because that would be something entertaining. I would be stoked. But sadly, I don't see it. I would love it, but no. Okay.
Work. It would work. That'd be great. Yeah, that would be good. That's really the best way to do it, to get it set up, I think.
Yeah, it
One
really
of the
is.
Because,
You need
then that's
something
just going to
slightly
be like
absurd.
every other time. He just comes out, cuts a promo, smells something, and then that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Now, gentlemen, I want good takes on this one. So, it's been about a week now since this came to light, and I haven't really heard too much, although general consensus says things aren't really going to happen. But Daniel Bryan's contract has lapsed. He is technically a free agent. Now, between earlier today and now, whether that has changed, I don't know, but I don't believe it has. What do we see going on with old Daniel Bryan? Or would we possibly see the return of Bryan Danielson somewhere else?
I think it's all just leverage to get a part-time schedule and get more money at the same time.
I think he's going to enjoy the time off with his kids. To watch them grow up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You may see him take a one-off here and there to have some bucket list matches.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if Joe went back to Ring of Honor, I could see him going to Ring of Honor and working a short program with Joe. I could see him going to Japan for the right match.
I'd love to see him go to Japan for a couple matches. I really would. What I hope happens. Now,
I would say if he went to Japan, I could see Wrestle Kingdom being a thing, because he would have the whole summer with his kids and to kind of heal up.
Mm-hmm.
And then do like Jericho did, make the announcement that he's going to wrestle blah, blah, blah at Wrestle Kingdom.
What I think would be almost as good, have him be a surprise entrance in the G1.
Yeah.
That would be pretty much, he'd have almost the entire summer off. It would pick up like late July and run through beginning of September.
I do know he's been open. He does not want to be full-time anymore.
Uh-huh.
I don't see him going to AEW because there's nothing there for him.
There might be some one-off fun matches for him, but I
don't think unless they gave him full control over his stuff, I don't see him going there. I don't think he's gonna do. I can't see him working with Omega like he is right now because they couldn't have a serious match, a Bryan Danielson match.
Yeah.
Does he really get anything out of wrestling Cody? No. Does he get anything really out of wrestling anybody on that roster? Not really. Maybe Darby Allin. Maybe Darby Allin give him a rub, but I doubt that.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody on that roster that works that Danielson submission style that he could have a great match with.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of in that.
Oh God, if he wrestled Zack Sabre Jr.
I'm talking about AEW.
I'm talking about anywhere.
Yeah.
But as far as he goes, he's kind of in that CM Punk position. He don't have to have the money because he's pretty much saved all his money.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to do it if he don't want to, unless the right thing comes along. I don't think he's going to diminish his character for a paycheck.
No. What?
Because in reality, he left WWE pretty much. He went out on top. He didn't get buried when he went. He's one of the few people to leave WWE that wasn't buried on his way out.
Yeah. What I think would be best, one, as much as, many people want to see anyone show up in AEW because it's the new hot thing, I agree with you. I don't see too much for him there unless he were to, recoup a little longer. But at the same time, the longer you recoup, the more long in the tooth you get career-wise. So he's at that weird point where, sure, he could do something, but, it's whatever.
I could see him coming back to NXT.
I could too. Now, what I would like to see him do, much like both of you were mentioning, I would like to see him kind of do a Bryan Danielson, greatest hits micro tour. Just free agent, popping in places, signing like little mini deals for like short runs, and just popping up here and there. Do a little short program with Joe at Ring of Honor. Do a short program in New Japan, like just some little 6-month number, something from like summer to Wrestle Kingdom, and call it a day.
I would let him win the G1.
Yeah, I mean, either that or...
And then... I don't know, I would like to see Danielson versus Okada.
I think that could work out really well, especially since Okada's been really pushing that Cobra clutch.
Because the match you're going to want to see, I think the first Wrestle Kingdom match really should be ZSJ or Ospreay.
I could go with either one of those. I would like to see submission versus submission. And both of them being smaller guys, it would really look good. So ZSJ versus Danielson would be lovely.
But he's not going. I know you pretty much figured he's not going to do anything. He's not going to have fun doing. Exactly. That's the thing about it. I think AEW would be too much bullshit and difficulty for him to have to put up with.
Maybe, but I mean, if he came in just to even do like, a special like one night only type of thing, I'm for it. I'm fine. If I figure out some way to make it work, do it. But he'd be better off elsewhere. And then, once he's done that, that'll allow him to force WWE's hand a bit more to give him that part-time contract where he just comes in and he fucking chills. Give him a Legends contract. Let him just fucking relax and come in and do a special appearance every now and then. Call it a day.
I think the only way you would see him in AEW is if Punk went to AEW and they had a match together. They could have their final hoorah.
Possibly.
Now, I'd go to AEW show to watch that match.
None of us would ever get into that show. We would want to, but we'd honestly have to like cut off our leg and sell it on the black market.
Because I do have a regret. I can. Do you remember the last match they faced off 1-on-1 at? If I'm correct, it was in Raleigh at I think the first Fastlane pay-per-view, and they did the Ring of Honor handshake because Bryan was the heel at the time, and Punk was the babyface champion. And they had like the match. It wasn't match of the year, but it was damn near close to it. But they wrestled their match. And I could have seen. I could have seen it in Raleigh, and I didn't buy tickets. I kind of beat myself up over that one.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I'd been a little grumpy if I'd had a chance for that as well. But that was during the weird down period for me, where I wasn't following it too close. So, gentlemen, shall we hit the big elephant in the room and do some predictions on Backlash?
Yeah.
No.
Since it's coming up this weekend.
Yay, WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, WrestleMania Backlash, because we needed a round 2 for our biggest pay-per-view of the year, even though it already had 2 rounds.
It's the rubber match.
Yep. Alright, so I have the card pulled up. Do we want to try and figure it out? Proper lead-off order, or do we want to... Yeah, let's do it lead-off order. Do we want to mess with any of the possible predicted matches, or do we want to just go with the official ones?
Just do them all, fuck it.
Alright, so we've got a couple predicted matches, but this is via CBS Sports. The 2 predicted matches. First one, United States Championship, Sheamus versus Humberto Carrillo.
Sheamus.
Let me write it down, because I am right there with you. And that is a possible match, so I will put in...
Don't do a sunset flip off the apron.
Oh boy.
Looked rough. Luckily, it wasn't hurt, but it did not look pretty.
The next one, an IC match: Apollo Crews versus Big E.
Apollo Crews.
Apollo.
As much as I want to say Big E, I'm also going to go with Apollo. And that's another one of the maybe matches. Those are the only 2 possible predicted matches to kind of round out the card that CBS has brought up. And now we'll move into the main card. All right. Damian Priest versus The Miz in a lumberjack match.
Priest.
Yeah. 100%. I'm going with Damian Priest as well. Grayson?
Damian.
Yep.
Wait, who was it again?
Damian Priest versus The Miz in a lumberjack match.
Damian Priest.
All right. Next, we got Ziggler and Rude versus Dominic and Rey Mysterio.
Mysterios.
That's what I'm saying too.
Yep. I'm definitely feeling the Mysterios as well. It's a family affair.
I think this ties it back. I didn't want to bring it up there. I wanted to bring it up now. Ties back to the Usos. They're not turning their back on Roman. They're going to stay with him, and then they're going to win the tag titles, which means they're going to be heel, and they have to win from a babyface team. Therefore, Ziggler and Rude have to lose the titles to a babyface team, and who better for transfer titles than Dominic to give him a little bit of a spotlight?
I like the way you think. I think that is very sound. Very sound logic. Now, whether WWE practices sound logic is another thing entirely, but for it. Now, the next one. My favorite type of match, a triple threat. The Raw Women's Championship. Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair.
I'm gonna say Charlotte.
So, Asuka, Rhea, and Charlotte triple threat?
Yep.
I'll stick with Rhea.
If Rhea wins, she'll pin Asuka. Charlotte won't take the fall.
No,
Correct.
I don't see that happening, even though
Actually, let me change mine to Rhea too, because I saw something about Alexa Bliss was kind of saying something that was kind of teasing Charlotte, so I figure she'll interfere with it.
Okay. I was also going with Rhea Ripley. As much as I don't want to put any sort of votes against Asuka, they're just not pushing her right now. She's just there because she's always good.
The spotlight is done for now.
Yep.
Rhea's time.
It is true. Next, the SmackDown Women's Championship. Belair versus Bayley.
Belair.
It's gonna be Belair, but I'll say I'll say Belair with my head held high. She impressed me at Mania, and as I said, she proved me wrong with their hair whip.
I still don't like her, but I just see her.
Oh yeah, I'm still not a big fan of the character, but wrestling ability. She's proved me wrong more so. So, but yeah, this will help establish her as a true champion, since Bayley was the longest reigning SmackDown champ.
Yeah. She doesn't need to get it back anytime soon.
No.
All right. Forecast it for us, Weatherman. What you got?
Which one now?
Belair versus Bayley for the SmackDown
Belair.
Women's. Belair? All right. BBs across the board. It's like we opened a fucking Copperhead. I don't think too many people will get that joke.
I didn't even get it. I'm your fucking brother.
Copperhead, the only company that made fucking BBs back in the day, and they came in the milk carton. And I've got BB for Bianca Belair written for all of us, so that's a lot of BBs.
Oh.
Okay, I'd rather you made a Butterfinger BB's joke.
Well, it's too late now.
Butterfingers.
Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger BBs.
Oh man.
I enjoy both, so it's fine. Next, the UC, Reigns versus Cesaro.
Oh my god. It's gonna be Reigns, but I'm wrong. I'm still gonna say wrong. I'm still saying Cesaro.
Yeah, 100%. Because I hate Roman Reigns. So I'm going to vote for Cesaro, even if I'm wrong.
I still like heel Roman, so I'm okay with Roman Reigns. I just wish he wouldn't bedroom hard sex talk everybody.
Yes.
Oh, I'm the head of the table. Oh yeah, yeah. Say it. Tell me I'm the head of the table. Oof, oof.
I gave you head on the table. I mean, I'm the head of the table.
It's just weird, man.
I don't like him. I just don't. I never will. Weatherman? Reigns. Alright.
Well, at least he'll get it right, even though.
Yeah. And then finally, for the WWE Championship, Lashley versus McIntyre versus Strowman. I am going to say the same. Even though I really think, truly, there's probably about a snowball's chance in hell of that happening. But I would like to see it on someone that hasn't gotten it. Both of them have had it. Swerve us. Put it on Strowman.
Strowman's had it.
I don't remember him having the WWE
He won it
Championship.
at Mania last year.
Did he win it at Mania last year?
He beat Goldberg.
Oh, yeah. I almost don't count that.
I mean, he had it for 3-4 months. probably
Yeah.
count.
But he wasn't bullied back then.
Yeah, he wasn't bullied.
Yeah.
Will, his feelings weren't hurt back then.
He wanted off a part-timer.
Coming from a dude who literally took an ambulance and fucking flipped it, his feelings are hurt now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the ambulance? He flipped the bitch.
Yeah.
Didn't he flip a big rig too?
I know he pulled the lightings down. I don't know about the big rig. Maybe. I'll give you a solid maybe.
But that doesn't matter because now his feelings are hurt because he was made fun of as a kid. And he forgot about all that when he was flipping over ambulances.
Yeah.
He went to therapy, damn it.
Therapy, FTW, dude. For the win.
Therapy.
Right.
My therapist said I need to talk about my feelings. That's
And
why
I
I'm
feel
turning
like
over
I wanna-
ambulances.
And I feel like I want to break your fucking face.
Crush him.
I kept giving people these hands because I was bullied as a kid.
I kept telling people I'm going to give them these hands, and then they would just turn around and say, "What? Give me these hand jobs."
Oh, God.
Can fucking take it, Doc. I'm not trying to give people hand jobs.
I'm not stupid.
They call me Handy Manny.
I'm not Sid Vicious, who has half the brain of Kevin Nash.
Just because I played softball doesn't make me Sid.
Yo, man.
The other wrestlers in the Rocker locker room call me Bald Sid.
Bald Sid. Oh, man.
I can't even do a power bomb right.
I don't know. His power bomb's okay. It's no Psycho Sid power
I
bomb.
was trying to find something.
Uh,
Did you ever see Sid do a choo choo? No.
Oh, God. All right. So, Weatherman, who you taking in that three-way?
Yeah.
I won't Lashley, but I'm gonna go with McIntyre.
The beauty of that setup.
Because he's got a sword. He's gonna stab him.
It just gets better.
I mean, you know, what
Like-
can you do, man? I mean, McIntyre's gonna bring out his sword, Strowman's gonna give him a hand job, and
Gonna
then
get a good
Lashley's
stabbing.
gonna put the hurt locker on it, you know? It's okay. It's gonna go all over the place.
I mean, Lashley's bringing the BBC.
Oh, that's true.
That's what he calls the Hurt Lock.
Oh, God. All right. Well, outside of that weird segue there, we definitely covered all of Backlash. I mean, I don't have the highest of hopes for Backlash. I really don't, just because it's, you know, WrestleMania's baby brother. And not in the good way.
I mean, it's. I'm not gonna watch it.
I'll try to watch it. I make no excuses saying that I wouldn't skip it, but I'm going to try and watch it. If anything, I'm going to at least watch the matches that I think are going to be interesting. To bring it back for some of the last couple topics. One, we've been talking about crossovers between all the different promotions lately, and last week we had the most meta of crossovers in one venue. First, Impact. They're the ones doing the most because honestly, in terms of all these cross-promotional things, they're the company that benefits the most from them because they, out of all of them, I'm going to call the big three right now, AEW, New Japan, and WWE. Impact's got to ride some coattails.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just the other day on Impact, we had, in one match, VSK, who is AEW talent, wrestles on Dark a lot, going up against fucking El Phantasmo from New Japan. So you had AEW versus New Japan on Impact. It was a good match. ELP crushed him. And I was wondering if he was going to bring the loaded boot gimmick to Impact. He sure as fucking did. ELP, it's not a loaded boot. He's just been kicking trees up in Canada. That's his training regimen. He's even said it. He's just kicking trees in Canada, making his legs strong. I believe him.
I don't know if anyone knows this, but Canada's got some tough motherfuckers. Have you ever met Wayne? Wayne's the toughest man in Letterkenny.
Yep. Toughest man in Letterkenny.
No, I'm not Lil Wayne.
Mm-hmm. He's always down for a scrap.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will say that fucking kick, whew, it put VSK on his ass. He didn't even, when he dropped, he didn't even wiggle or move his head when he got pinned. It was done.
Something like a true game.
Yep. My favorite part of it, though, is El Phantasmo laid down on his side and propped his head up on his arms and pointed at his foot to the ref. The ref raised his loaded boot foot up instead of his arm for the win. He made him raise his foot.
Class.
I was like, that's perfect. He came out to his Bullet Club entrance gear. He had his new hoodie on. He had Bullet Club beanie on, so he didn't come out in his crazy electric leather jacket, but he had his spiked slat sunglasses and everything. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. But then we also got to see Don Gallows beat the shit out of Juice Robinson.
Always a good thing.
I love
Gallows
Juice.
wearing tie-dye.
Huh?
Was he wearing tie-dye?
Who?
Gallows.
No.
He's got a new tie-dye shirt says the summer of the Good Brothers.
That's probably something that they're just pushing themselves for their own sort of thing. But nah, he was just in his regular Gallows gear. And Juice and Finlay were out in their that weird diamond motif gear that they're sporting as a tag team. So I have a feeling that here pretty soon, given the angle they're working, where Kenny's saying we've all got to get some wins to make us look good, I have a feeling that the Good Brothers will be getting those tag belts back pretty soon. But last thing to really touch on. Grayson had already seen it way in advance. Weather and myself called it pretty much premiere night. Gentlemen, we can officially talk about Dark Side of the Ring from last week.
Yes.
Pillman episode 1. What did we think?
Good shit. I hate his ex-wife.
Oh God, the stripper.
The second one, yeah, the second one.
The stripper
the
one.
First one.
Yeah. In other words, Brian Jr.'s mom.
Yeah, the rough one.
Yeah.
Did you know she was Ultimate Warrior's girlfriend before she got with Pillman?
Whoa. Did not know that.
Yep. That's how he actually discussed that. There was a little bit of a... They said he saw her in a magazine, but no, it was actually he saw her with Warrior. And I got a little teary-eyed because as somebody going through custody battles, the whole thing with his first wife I thought was very shitty. I don't know how much of that was Brian's part or Melanie's.
Yeah.
I've always been a Pillman fan.
Yeah.
That kind of struck a nerve. But people can be manipulated by women.
That's true. For what it's worth.
Being when she did kill herself, he did show the regrets. I guess I can give him a pass there.
It seems like what it is is he definitely lived in the moment, and at the moment, for him, it seemed like a good idea. But when he saw the results of his actions, he immediately regretted it. But the one thing you can say, and it was pretty much backed up by every one of his kids who all had a different mom, he 100% was like dad of the fucking year material, other than being like a shitty husband type character.
Only one that was better, you'd say, was Owen Hart.
Yeah. Like, Pillman loved his fucking kids, and no matter who they, like, which wife or girlfriend they came from, he treated every one of them the same.
Like, you know, it was that one kid, I think it just kind of popped up like he didn't know he had. Bam.
Yeah.
Like, took right to it. It's like, oh, you're my kid? All right, come on, let's go.
Yeah. And she, like, I thought she was going to dog on him the whole time. No, she's just a really dry personality. So, yeah, like, he loved his kids no matter what. And I thought that was great.
Yes.
And, it also seemed like he did do a pretty good job about keeping them fairly separate from the business. Not perfectly separated, not like Roddy good, or like the Harts did, but he did a good job about keeping the family, you know, from getting too mixed up in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That arms reach
when you see episode 2, you'll take that statement back.
Okay. Well, as of episode 1, that's what
I wouldn't really be spoiling anything, but Bryan Jr. said when he died, he thought it was a work. Because when he came in the room and saw everybody crying, he thought he was waiting to see. He's thinking there was cameras around, and he was like, "Okay, we're just going to pretend Dad's dead. This is part of the show."
Mm-hmm.
He's just working another angle because they kind of got into it in episode 1. The whole loose cannon thing was a gimmick, and everybody believed it was real.
Yeah. It was definitely a gimmick. It's just one of those gimmicks that he played it so well, you couldn't tell it was a gimmick. It surpassed gimmick and moved into something beyond. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that rare thing that not many people can do. And he did it. It's just like Roddy took being a heel so far past being a heel that it became something new altogether. That other people try to imitate all the time now, but no one can do it. That's the best comparison I've got for it, unless someone else has one. That might work a little better.
Works for me.
Without spoiling anything, what sort of stuff can people look forward to with episode 2 if they haven't seen it yet?
It'll get a little bit more emotional. Like I said, the part about his death. Cornette goes into the detail about, he took the call and how Vince and how he the disdain he had for Vince for how he handled the night after and how the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to grasp how Melanie was acting because I couldn't get a good vibe off of her. But she says that she told Vince not to ask him about pain pills, and the first question he asked was about painkillers.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of fuck Vince shit in that episode.
And she's one of those, it's like who's right? It's from who's delivering the message.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't
Take
know.
anything from her with a
essentially
grain of salt.
Brian Jr. Essentially,
Yeah.
Brian Jr. is the only one trying to have a relationship with her, where the other kids want nothing to do with her. And apparently, Brian's sister is the best person in the world. You'll learn that in the second episode, Kevin, already.
Earliest sister or middle sister?
All the siblings are pretty good.
No, I'm talking about Brian's sister. Brian Senior's sister.
Oh, senior sister. Okay.
Yeah.
The aunt.
Yes, the aunt. Like, she gets all the kids together and they all reminisce and stuff. And apparently at the funeral there was cameras there. They wouldn't say if it was from WBE or not. But the aunt was the one who told them to get out, to leave. They were told they were invited here, and she said, "No, get out."
Good.
Don't know if they were from WB, if they were just local news or what, but they were kicked out. They said the only people from WB who showed up was Vince and Ross, but they said no wrestlers really showed up. They didn't even mention Steve Austin showing up. I know from the Cornette podcast, he said that he doesn't do funerals, so he wouldn't know what he didn't do. I don't think he went to Owens. He doesn't do funerals in general, so he didn't go. I think he has that mindset of, I want to remember you alive instead of my last memory of you being in a casket.
That makes sense.
But, it just kind of got more into his WBF career at that time, about how he worked with the broken leg and how he pretty much persevered. But he got, he said got fucked up, and now the aunt said the cause of death was heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's on the death certificate, which she said ran in the family. His dad died at 55 from heart attack.
I could see that being pretty legit, and then also that being kind of sped up with the other factors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other things may have had a hand in it, but the major factor was the heart.
The way that this is a shitty way to compare it. It's essentially Goku's heart virus. When he became a Super Saiyan, it accelerated the attack.
That is a fair comparison. Well, I think we've covered just about everything, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, there is one thing I want to mention.
Okay.
In 1 year from now, I can't wait on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock to be watching the NHL on TNT. You guys probably brought that up a couple of weeks ago, but yep.
Weatherman is so excited for hockey.
I am so excited for hockey on TNT. Well, actually, they got ESPN Plus and Turner, so I'm just like, because Hulu has screwed me, because Hulu terminated their contract with Fox, so I haven't got to watch no local Hurricane games this year, because I don't have Fox Sports South. I have FS1 and FS2 and my local Fox channel. That's it. I don't have the Fox Sports channels.
I wonder. Yeah, that's the big thing. I just wonder how next year's scheduling is going to go. We'll see when we get closer to it. But I do wonder.
Oh, and also AEW was #1 last week in the cable for the whole thing last week. But with that being said, it was Cinco de Mayo. And a lot of people were out with me and Wes at Margaritas drinking it up.
Good old Wes.
But overall, the rating for Blood and Guts was only 300,000 more people than it was the week before.
So they were back up to like 1.1.
1.1, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens after tonight. I'd say it'll drop back down to 1,900,000. But it's just they like to brag about everything, and it's just
I feel
I hate the bragging because considering what wrestling used to do, it's not really nothing to brag about.
it's not if you compare it to back then, but it's a different
If you
viewing
compare it
landscape now.
to Raw in general, Raw's doing 2 and 3 million, and it's terrible.
Okay.
Now, given you got people like John who just want to be in Thunderdome.
I think that's a big thing that does keep them going. They've got a better gimmick to bring people in. But still yet, Raw's a fucking dumpster fire. SmackDown's slightly better. NXT is good. But yeah.
NXT is good, but I just don't care about it.
They haven't gotten a hook for me to really get me wanting to come and watch it every night that it's on.
I don't want to watch AEW every week. It was just so happening tonight. I was at home and didn't plan on being at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hey, I mean, I'll watch it tomorrow. I do like watching AEW every week because, one, most of the roster are wrestlers I enjoy, whether they're mismanaged or not, depending on personal opinions. It is what it is, so I'll definitely catch it because, one, I want to see how things go. If they can just kind of keep their numbers consistent, I think they'll be all right. But I think more than anything, they're not going to really pick up until they can have crowds again.
I say they'll get moved from Wednesday.
Possibly, depends on what that contract says.
Because hockey's big night's Wednesday night, and they got NBA on Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah, well, I mean, was hockey on TNT before?
No.
Then most likely, I think...
See, here's the thing I got to think about, too. The guy that signed AEW to that contract was fired.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like this new guy wants to focus more on sports. Because they have...
Just like back in the day.
Yeah, but they're wanting to really make Turner Sports an elite. They want them up there with ESPN. Mm-hmm. Where...
Well, basically, they're going to have to do a whole lot of contract buyout stuff to get that to fly. Because depending on the length that contract's set for, I don't see them being able to get AEW out of their time slot.
They won't get them out, but they can... Well, I don't know. They can have the power to move them. Because the thing about it is, the NHL is going to bring in more money. Whereas the viewership might not be as much, but the NHL has more overall sponsors.
Mm-hmm. We shall see, but I think what's going to happen is if they constantly move AEW around, then they run the risk of having or bringing up a nice little issue with contracts and everything. If it's a once-in-a-while thing, kind of like with the NBA, I don't see any problem with it. But if it's a weekly type of deal, then they're definitely going to ruffle some feathers. Regardless of what sort of money
if AEW tried to do anything, they could bury them. All right, then you want us to do us over the contract? Fine, we'll put you on at 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday.
I don't think you understand contracts. I think the contract would specifically state a time. Mm-hmm. Because this is not Tony Khan's first rodeo.
I don't know if that exactly says they have to be on Wednesday at 8. It may have been in there TNT has the power to move it if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
It all just comes down to contracts, so we can speculate all day, but I think Tony Khan, with his experience in sport industry, knows how to ensure a proper contract.
If it's one thing, like Grayson was saying, if there's one thing that AEW does have in their favor, they're owned by a family that does run actual sports teams.
Very poorly, but they do.
No, they run one team very poorly. The other is, much.
I thought the soccer team sucked.
It doesn't matter.
I remember seeing something that the soccer team, they were wanting them out.
I don't know. I always usually.
Which team are you talking about?
I was talking about Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's made the playoffs maybe twice in the last decade. They've not been. They've been a bottom tier NFL team.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking about them being the bad one. The one mismanaged team.
The soccer team not too good either.
I haven't really heard too much negative about. I've just heard they're, decent to middling. They're not gonna, knock it out of the park, but they're definitely not doing Jacksonville bad. But either way, they do run sports teams, so they kind of know the ins and outs of, that market.
Well, look at it this way: USA would move Raw because of the dog show.
But that dog show is also once a year.
At this point, I feel like the dog show probably pulled in more viewers.
Nowadays, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And now Fox has it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Westminster.
That'll be the key thing, is if the network holds the ability to move the time slot.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. We will see. I feel like most likely that contract's got to have some sort of like addendum or some caveats in there for being kind of bumped out, especially if they're bringing in something new that hasn't been there. Then they'd have to make sure that the new contract doesn't, infringe on a previously existing one.
Well, there's also the ratings factor. Remember, shows get canceled because of ratings. They could be required to pull a certain rating.
Could be.
I don't think they're pulling that certain rating they want right now.
I don't know. I think there's also extenuating circumstances given the past year.
And they're going to make a lot of money off the NHL deal more than AEW. That's the key thing, too. Would you breach the contract when you can easily take a chunk of the NHL payoff and pay it out?
We'll see. I just, I don't know. I just think it'd be better to have more eggs in a basket than trying to appease one or the other. From a business standpoint?
I'm just saying it because when I first said this a long time ago, I said when the original guy signed to AEW was let go for another guy, I said it, that if a major sports brand came open, I wouldn't leave past TNT to push AEW to the side.
Yeah. I mean, if it happens, will it surprise me? Probably not. But I still just...
AEW doesn't have a lot of sponsors.
No, they don't. But we shall see what happens. Like, the only sponsor I can think of off the top of my head is fucking State Farm.
Yep. So, let's just remember, money talks.
It does indeed. We shall see.
Yeah, in the fall will be a real big crank up too, because in the fall the NBA starts up, the NHL will start up, and TBS has the baseball playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Turner too runs weekly baseball on TBS.
Well, that's TBS.
Yeah. But still, what I'm saying is there couldn't be a lot of times TNT would overflow stuff to TBS.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of out of the question because TBS has got baseball. And they're going to have hockey too. That's part of the deal. Especially during the playoffs, so they can run multiple networks.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be something else, that's for sure.
That's why I'm saying AEW needs to get their shit together this summer and start popping some good ratings.
I mean, something's going to have to give for sure. I don't know what. It's all up in the air. I'm hoping that they don't make the same mistake they made back in the day, where they kind of pushed wrestling out the door again. Because, I mean, they made a big deal about bringing wrestling back to the Turner networks. If they just fuck up again, it's just history repeating itself. And that would be some bullshit.
But then you gotta bring in too, was AEW mismanaged?
I don't think they've been as. I don't think they've been as mismanaged as WCW.
I get that 1999, 2000, late 1999, 2000 WCW feel from them.
I don't.
You're wrong.
I do not get that
All
one.
this talk, every bit
It ain't
of
to that.
is
It ain't to that
wrong.
extreme.
The only person that gives me that vibe is Cody. He's the only one. But all I can say is, in the grand scheme of things, with what's going to happen on TV, etc., with all the other sports coming in, we'll just have to see how it plays out. That's as far as I'm going to go with it. I'm going to think that they'll probably work some sort of amicable schedule for all parties involved.
But, with all of that, with their completely opposing viewpoints on the contract situation that could or could not be coming up with that, we would like to thank everyone for listening tonight for another riveting episode of Post to Post. We covered our predictions, we covered some Impact, we covered some AEW, some WWE. NWA, Matt Cross was on Power. And he'll be on Power again for the TV title. So there's your NWA. Watch it just because of Matt Cross. Matt Cross. His website, Wrestling is Forever. I didn't even get paid for that. I just love Matt fucking Cross. Matt Cross. And to actually talk about real sponsors, real support, the true man behind the scenes, our good boy Falcon. Thank you, Falcon, for always making us sound good and look good, even though you can't see us. I like to tell people he does my hair. No one believes me, but I mean, how else would I get the volume and curls that I do?
Mm-hmm.
Or the natural growing rat tail with long hair all around it? It makes no sense. But, and in addition to that, if you ever are just interested in checking it out, because I fully recommend it, check out the N Polar YouTube site. They cover everything that you would ever want to do. Music, games. Will was on there once. I know you just can't get enough of him and his Tuesday Night Titans, but he was on there, and they were talking some mad music knowledge. He was dropping his encyclopedia. It's weird. If it's not New Japan, he knows music.
I know stuff.
Yep. So always check them out. Check out End the Polar. There are boys, and Falcon, who's a part of that, always makes us sound good and helps us reach you. And with that, goodbye. Bye.
Yes.
Alrighty.
I couldn't tell who said that just then.
You're welcome.